is what kind of keeps putting us down, and it keeps us making feel bad about ourselves. And there comes Archika. Good afternoon, Archika. How are you
Good
doing?
afternoon, Ashima. I'm doing great. You
All
tell me
right.
how's it going?
Great, great, great. And we are waiting for people to join in. I think once people join in, we would be able to uh, go on to reflections on yesterday's session. And before we begin today's session, as we wanted to begin with the technique of being mindful and trying to stop overthinking and negative thinking. And anything you would like to add from yesterday's session, Archika? Because yesterday we were talking about self-discovery. We were trying to understand the challenges which kind of keep putting us down, and they keep us into the mode of not being welcoming to our own self. So anything you'd like to add on from there?
Actually, Ashima, yesterday from our session, this overthinking and negative thoughts, which are actually they are the base. They're the base of any issue, and when they start happening, then it becomes really a problem for everybody.
You're
Though
right.
we don't realize on time that
Hmm.
it is a problem, and we are like, okay, नहीं नहीं नहीं, ऐसे तो हो जाता है, ठीक है, अभी ऐसे ये situation है, that is why I'm thinking like this. This is
Hmm.
a
Hmm.
problem, that is why it's happening to me. It's nothing like that. But
Hmm.
to be honest, this overthinking and negative thought process later on can become a disorder also
Hmm.
in the
Right.
later stages. So, if we say psychologically, so what is overthinking? What do you mean by overthinking? It's like your thoughts and your worries. They are in an endless loop, like in a circle. They are coming back, they are coming back, they are, round and round and round and round. And then it's like a, do you remember this ओम thing? ये जो ओम होता है उस पे एक डॉट से शुरू करते हैं और सर्कल ऐसे बढ़ाते जाते बढ़ाते जाते बढ़ाते जाते,
Hmm.
I don't know whether how to explain this, but I think you can relate to it. That एक dots, एक negative thought, एक it's like a dot. वहां से वो शुरू होता
Absolutely.
है, that line starts, and वो जो उसका orbit है ना, वो orbit बड़ा होता चला जाता है, बाहर 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 बाहर
इट्स
बाहर
लाइक अ
बाहर.
लूप. हम
It's
लोगों
like a
का
loop.
नेगेटिव ओवरथिंकिंग का पैटर्न और उसका एक लूप बनता चला जाता है, राइट? एंड
Yeah,
वी
and overthinking is an early indicator and symptoms of depression, anxiety, and there are other mental health conditions which are, connected to it. But the overthinking actually is an indicator. Once in a while it's happening and you are out of it, fine. But if you are getting into a habit of it and it's happening very often with you, so it's like a, red flag that you should do something regarding.
Hmm. Absolutely. So what you're saying is, Archika, that overthinking is, there are ways of overcoming this overthinking and negative thinking pattern, because we kind of get caught into the loop. And before we go on to this, let's understand from the people who have joined. We have Denny and Noor Muhammad. Let's just invite them and understand from them if they were there in yesterday's session, and if they understood. I think Noor was there because Denny is, it's the first session for him. So Noor, were you there? Would you want to add something, or would you want to reflect on yesterday's session, what all happened, and do you have something to ask or add, or something you would like to say, which you, even Denny has come in. Denny, good afternoon. How are you doing, dear? I see Denny, good afternoon. How are you doing, dear? And Noor is also there.
हाँ मैम, अस्सलाम वालेकुम मैडम. मैं थी मैम कल के सेशन में. मतलब कल के सेशन में जो भी बोल रहे थे ना मैम, वो मेरे को काफी हद तक मैं उससे ज्यादा रिलेटेबल कर पा रही थी, क्योंकि मेरे अंदर भी वही सवाल होते थे और मेरे अंदर भी पूरा वही चल रहा था. लेकिन जैसे जैसे मैं भी बोल रही कि मैं जब से मैं मेंजा में आई तब से आपके सेशन सुन रही, ये सारे चीज का ना एक ही हल मेरे को समझ में आया कि पहले अपने आप को खुद समझने की कोशिश करो. पहले हम खुद को समझे तो हमें हर चीज दूसरों से कैसा डील करना है और मतलब सिचुएशंस को कैसा डील करना है, दूसरों से कैसा बर्ताव करना है, ये हमें समझ में आता। जब तक हम अंदर से क्लियर नहीं रहते, हम खुद पे क्लैरिटी नहीं रहता, तब तक हम लोगों को कुछ भी समझ में नहीं आता। सब अलग ही मतलब कुछ भी समझ में नहीं आता। इसलिए मैं जब से आप बोल रहे थे मैं इसलिए वो कल के सेशन में बात नहीं करी, क्योंकि आप जो बोल रहे थे, लोग बोल रहे थे, मेरे को वो पूरे सारे चीजों से मैं वाकिफ होके थी।
ऑल
लेकिन मेरे
राइट
को, हाँ
जी,
मैम,
बोलिए
मेरे
बोलिए।
को ये एक बात का एक सवाल दिमाग में आया था कि
हम्म
अब जैसा बोल रहे थे ना, एक ट्रॉमा रहता, बैगेज रहता, उसके वजह से लोगों के अंदर ये सारे सवालात आते रहते बोल के मेरे अगर से मैं मेरा बोली तो मैम, मेरे मेरे अब तक के लाइफ में भी बहुत मतलब एक काफी हद तक ट्रॉमेटिक लाइफ था, ट्रॉमेटिक जर्नी थी, ट्रॉमा था, और बैगेज भी है। लेकिन उससे मैं कैसा मतलब कई कई बार मेरे को ऐसा लगता कि उसके वजह से मेरे आने वाले मतलब डिसीजन मेकिंग पे क्या कुछ भी क्या एक दो बार तो कहीं ना कहीं उसका असर दिखते रहता मेरे को। फिर भी मैं अपने आप को बोलती कि ये पिछले इसके वजह से मेरे को ये ऐसे सवाल आ रहे हैं, ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं होता बोल के फिर भी मैं वहां पे कट कर देती उसको। लेकिन मेरे को ना मैम ये नेगेटिव थॉट और वो ट्रॉमा और वो उसके वजह से जो भी बैगेज है उसके उसको कैसा पीछा छुड़ाना है, उसका मतलब बाहर कैसे निकलना है, मेरे को अभी भी थोड़ा सीखना है मैम,
हम्म
समझना है।
हम्म नूर, ट्रॉमा और जो भी बैगेज है ना, उसको मुझे लगता है कि तुम ओपन प्लेटफॉर्म पे नहीं बता पाओगे। तो उसके लिए अगर अलग से बात की जाए, अर्चिका मैम और मैं अगर उसके लिए तुमको हेल्प कर पाए, वो अलग तरीका होगा। क्योंकि क्या होता है ना, पास्ट ट्रॉमा के अंदर बहुत से ऐसे ब्लॉक्स बने होते हैं, बहुत से ऐसे थॉट्स होते हैं, बहुत सी ऐसी फीलिंग्स होती हैं, बहुत से ऐसे इमोशंस उन पर्टिकुलर लोकेशंस में जुड़े होते हैं। जैसे मैं तुम्हें एक छोटी सी बात बताती हूँ। जैसे मैंने अपना प्राणायाम शुरू किया था आज से 1.5 महीना पहले, 1.5 पौने 2 महीना पहले, तो उस टाइम पे बिकॉज मेरे अंदर एक वो था कि ये मुझे, अब मेरे को प्रॉब्लम हो रहा था आईज को लेकर के। सो व्हेन आई स्टार्टेड डूइंग दैट, सो उस पर्टिकुलर मोमेंट पे मेरे साथ जो जो हो रहा था, व्हेन आई स्टार्टेड डूइंग माय प्राणायाम, और मेरे सराउंडिंग्स में जो जो हो रहा था, वो कहीं ना कहीं मेरी पिक्चर में आ गया। सो कभी अभी भी जब भी मैं अपना ब्रीदिंग रिलेट करती हूँ, सो मुझे वो वाले इंसिडेंसेस कि उस टाइम पे मेरे आसपास कौन क्या कर रहा था, दे कीप कमिंग बैक। नाउ दे आर वेरी पॉजिटिव एंड न्यूट्रल, सो दे डोंट डिस्टर्ब मी। अगर मेरे साथ कुछ ओकेजन्स में, जैसे तुम बोल रही हो, पास्ट में कुछ ऐसी चीजें हुई हैं जिनके साथ मेरे कुछ थॉट्स, मेरे कुछ इमोशंस, मेरे कुछ फीलिंग्स जुड़े हुए हैं, और वो कहीं ना कहीं मेरे बिलीफ पैटर्न में हैं, तो मेरी लाइफ के अंदर जब तक मैं उनको टेक केयर नहीं करूंगी, उनको खुल के नहीं बोलूंगी, उनकी कॉग्निटिव रिस्ट्रक्चरिंग नहीं करूंगी, उनका पॉट टू सॉर्ट नहीं करूंगी, विच मीन्स प्रॉब्लम ओरिएंटेड थिंकिंग टू सॉल्यूशन ओरिएंटेड थिंकिंग तक नहीं जाऊंगी, there will be the blocks which will be carrying. But हाँ, एक चीज तुम्हें बोल सकती हूँ, just stay tuned in the sessions, because आज भी हम एक visualization करेंगे where you will be visualizing yourself in a positive state. But when you talk about a visualization of going back to the traumatic situation, there, as Archika ma'am was talking in one of the sessions, that we'll talk about the empty chair or T2 chair technique. So that will be a different thing. So just stay tuned, New. I think ये sessions भी तुम्हें help करेंगे, और जैसे जैसे हम आगे बढ़ेंगे, we will see if we can help you at individual level also. Archika, do you want to add on to it? Noor, you want to? ठीक. We have Jatin also. Jatin, would you want to, were you there in yesterday's session, Jatin? Or you have just come in for the first
No,
time?
no, I've just come in. I've subscribed today itself. Like, this is my first session.
All right.
So I was just listening in, and it seems like we are kind of reassessing the patterns in our head related to negative, whatever experiences. Is it?
Or the other, they end up becoming the patterns of negative thinking patterns, or they become loops of overthinking negative patterns. So here, when you talk about this mental 1 hour session, we are trying to let people understand how they can connect to themselves and what are the things which are not right. So let me just give it to Archika for now. Jatin, do you have something? Would you want to add on something to your own, experiences before we go on?
So I don't know, like how many people relate to, let's say, astrology or something. I myself didn't, but then recently uh, I was just assessing I would say my life choices and the way I think. It's more of towards transition, like jumping from one likeness or one hobby to the next, and the way it has, like, it's been one shiny object syndrome from the next to the next to the next, and then I was trying to assess where is it coming from, and it was more towards not exactly negative patterns, but rather being overly optimistic about the next shiny thing and then moving towards it. So and that ended up being a little bit negative. I tended to put it in a way that I don't commit to anything specifically. So that's what I'm trying to assess or address in my life nowadays. So not sure how relevant this is here, but that's what.
Okay. So, which means that what you're trying to say is, what I get from what you're saying is that you're moving from one shiny object to other, means that you're not being consistent in things, or you think, I mean, what is it happening with you at a personal level?
So let's say, for instance, I'm into technology, right? I'm a solution architect. I'm a technology person. So let's say today I'm studying one thing. Tomorrow I'm going for the next thing. Tomorrow I'm going for the next thing. So that ways, in a way, it would take me what is supposed to take months is taking me years to get there because it's not exactly compounding. It's not building one on top of the other. Eventually, I'd get to the thing. So eventually, I'd get to skill one, skill two, skill three. But then all of them combined would take me about a year, and then it tends to build up in guilt. It tends to build up in resentment that had it been I had done the skill one at the first place itself, it wouldn't have taken me this long. And then, like, it all maybe stems down from, let's say, my college time, my school time, wherein I, instead of taking up one skill or one subject at a time, I'd taken on close to 25, right? And then it ended up taking close to 5 years to get to the point, to get to a place where I was more of myself, more confident towards what I was trying to achieve.
So, Jatin, are you trying to say that it's like jack of all, master of
Kind
none
of,
kind of
yes,
thing?
yes. And the
So,
eventual goal was to be a master, and then to become a master, it took a decade.
yeah, and perfectionism, this is what you are required everywhere. Wherever I'm going, I should be
Yeah, and
perfect.
then
I should be.
the greed was also there. Like the greed was immense that
Hmm.
I didn't want to settle with just one thing. I wanted to be, and not just jack of all trade. I wanted to be like
Master of all.
it's master of all. Like I wanted to have it, all of it, and have a taste of that pie, and then feel.
So, right now, what you're feeling that I'm having it all and still I'm not having it all. Uh, yeah.
Like I'm at a place where I'm having it all, and still it is incomplete for me. And then
Hmm.
what ends up happening is the people I have conversations with, even executive levels, they're very appreciative of whatever I'm doing, and then
Hmm.
they're like they give me those affirmations that you can do anything that you set your mind to. But then somewhere, like, myself in my mind, I'm like I'm still lacking. I'm still like that thing is pending or that thing is pending. So there's these stigmas for, like, just let's just take an example. Let's say web development.
Hmm.
During my school time, I was scared of it. I tried my hand at it, but it was very transitionary. Uh,
Hmm.
so so when I tried it, I was kind of scared of it, and therefore it didn't exactly evolve into a skill. And when I came into my let's say corporate career,
Mhm.
it stayed, the stigma stayed with me. And then to this day, let's say if I don't address that, it's kind of like a chink in that armor. And then even if I'm masterful at my current trades and everything, I'm still feeling like if I want to launch a business, if I want to launch a YouTube channel, if I want to do something as a side hustle, it's a limitation in my mind that I wasn't able to do that specifically. I'm not sure where
Okay,
is it
so
Self-critical mode somewhere that I am not perfect, and so that is the reason I can't.
seems like it. Yes, and being too self-critical about it. Yeah, that's all.
and if you don't mind, if you are comfortable, can I ask you some personal questions? Otherwise, we can have different thing. Okay. Uh, what about the dynamics of your relationships?
Uh, okay, that's a good question. So let's say it's good. It's cordial. It's fun. It's amazing generally. But then, like the bond that stands comes from my, let's say, from my daughter.
Hmm.
She's the bond which holds us all together, and then she's the I'd say the jolly good, the positive that we have, right?
You are
And
giving
beyond
me a
that,
clue, but I don't want to get that personal on this platform. So I think you are looking for the perfection in every relationship. Your expectations are there, which are not getting fulfilled, not completely. You are getting them fulfilled, but not completely everywhere. And but with your
mm,
daughter, you feel it's like 100% whenever you
yes.
are with her, right? That
Jatin,
is what you
Archika,
mean.
I would want to ask Jatin before we talk about his relationship. As you said, you don't want to. If he wants to dwell in, we can take him on. But what about the relationship with the parents in the childhood, Jatin?
I was resentful. Like though it was a little bit towards that I so I let's say if I go a little bit personal, I was I belong to a lower middle class family, and then it was all striving for, and then everything was a struggle a little bit. But then in my head, I formed this alter ego wherein like it was a very thin, skinny guy, and then on his like he had a chip on his shoulder named Superman,
Mm-hmm.
and then like you give me something and I'd try to bring an element of surprise there or charisma or charm. And then
Your
what
eldest
ended up
in your
happening?
family? Sorry,
Sorry,
your eldest?
no, I'm the youngest.
Hmm.
Youngest. Okay.
How many
Either
children? How
eldest
many
or
siblings do
youngest.
you have?
One elder brother,
Okay, all right.
and then like thereafter, so if I move a little bit in. So one aspect was energy. So then like the entire family is going through a low phase of energy.
Hmm.
And then so if I'm being upbeat, I'm trying to keep the energy up. And then there's no so one element was like there were no girl child in my family for three
Mm-hmm.
generations. So therefore the how should I say it? The other side of the spectrum, the
The
you know
female aspect, right?
that part was yeah, the feminine
Hmm.
aspect was a little bit
Hmm.
missing, and it was more towards male dominant and everything.
Hmm.
And then me trying to keep it was kind of like too much to shoulder in terms of happiness, keeping everybody upbeat, keeping everybody like positive, and then everybody's looking at the doom and gloom and everywhere, and then and many such things, not exactly relevant for this forum. It's not very practical to share everything here. But then what I'm saying is with those all ups and downs, it was kind of like at the end of the day, I was a little bit resentful that I'm giving everything, but I am a little bit empty on the inside. I was
Hmm.
uh, the relationship was lacking, and I used to always feel like once I form a family of my own, which is get married, have kids, uh, have friends, have that community around me. Uh, I make sure that I give it my all, and then that's also. This is interesting. Okay.
So,
Uh,
when was it
so,
decided
sorry.
to become the one to shoulder the aspect that you are the one who is to make everybody happy? You have to make sure that everybody is positive. That's the first question. And the second is,
Uh,
yeah.
Maybe absenteeism on my father's bit. So my not exactly absenteeism, but he had to work to make ends meet, and he was like he was traveling most of the time. He used to go out on tours, different tours, and then he used to do business. And then the other factor maybe was from a lack of money. So if I go a little bit down deep, so in the sense that my mother didn't have a mother, like my maternal grandmother was not there. She died when my mother was like about a year. So then, therefore, like my mother needed like a person to be there for her since my father is not around. And then a lack of money brings about, how should I say it, a lack of resources. And somebody, either resources are required or resourcefulness is required, right? So the resourcefulness was the need of the hour. My brother was busy with his own passions and his own like focuses, and therefore it kind of fell upon me to kind of fill the void. That's all.
So it's
So right now, do you
Hmm.
feel like on one side I want to give everything to my family what I didn't get. On other
Hmm.
hand, you are like I want to get everything. I want to achieve every success in life what I my family didn't have.
Yeah,
These are
that's
the two
about that
things
about
happening
sums it
in
up.
you,
Yes,
right?
exactly. Yes,
So एक
yes.
तरह से आपने अपने आप को दो पार्ट्स में डिवाइड किया हुआ है और दोनों
Divide
यू आर
कर दिया है
रनिंग
मैंने. हाँ.
दो बोट्स हैं और आप दोनों पे
Correct.
रन करना चाह रहे हो बट द प्रॉब्लम इज यू आर हैविंग ईच लेग ऑन वन बोट एंड दे आर नॉट द कोऑर्डिनेशन इज थोड़ा सा डिसबैलेंस हो
Is a
जाता
little bit lacking. हाँ. That's
है
all.
ओके सो
हाँ.
हेयर जतिन there are sessions and therapies required if you can take a help of any professional. But on a very lighter mode and just to start, I can give you some advices. First,
Mm-hmm.
prioritize. Just make sure and sit with yourself. First is communication. You have to have a good communication with your loved ones. If your
Mm-hmm.
father is there, if your
Can
mother
I
is
ask
there.
Jatin a question about the communication and relationship which he shares? Like he talks about his mother, where he was trying to be the man in the shining armor, right? Jatin, is
Yeah.
this the right? Yeah,
Yes,
you were
that's
trying.
correct.
So you were trying to be the man in the shining armor for your mother. Are you, or you want to be, taken care of in the way you want to take care of others?
On my, let's say my wife, my child, that ways I try to keep it all balanced, because uh like in the sense that it's parenting for my daughter. So we try to show her an example where, let's say if it is the modern society and then the girl has to work, and it's not about one provider and like one person doing everything. And then if she has to be in a successful relationship, we try to show her every aspect. Like there's this thing coming up. So okay, let me share. So let's say I am a little bit, I am an overthinker, right? So because of that reason, I haven't perfected my car driving to this day, right? So uh, that's, let's say, so if we have a car, and then like my wife is driving it, my daughter is seeing it, right? And then we and she being an overachiever, she being a perfectionist of her own, she's like 6 years old, and then we don't how should I say it? put any expectations on top of her. We don't burden her with anything. But then what ends up happening is she observes us that we're there for her. We're listening to everything that she's sharing, and then what ends up happening is we're trying to, like, on this side of the family, in on my, like, my wife, my child, this side we're trying to keep it balanced. Both of us are working still. Both of us are giving her a close to 10 hours a day, where sitting with her, talking with her, taking her out for this thing, for outings, swimming classes, this and that. So this side is quite balanced. It's not like I lay low and then I'm like, somebody has to take good care of me, and it's required. And on the flip side, so this, like, whatever I'm talking is all like a decade ago that happened. And then now, since last 5 or 6 years, I've been very busy with work. So I haven't been able to go back to my native place too much, too often. And then maybe there's this lingering fear, or I'd say there's guilt also, because like earlier in my life I was there, and now I'm not, because responsibilities change, time change, and all that. So
Your mom is
so
at the
yeah,
native
that
place,
that
Jatin?
that's correct. Yeah, my mom is at a natives, and I'm here. I'm like, let's say I'm in northern region, NCR, and she's a little bit like 100, 200 kilometers away.
Hmm. So, Jatin, before we go on further, would like to bring in this point, and then we'll have Archika building on. Is that somewhere, in order to make others happy, and even when you're talking about doing things for your daughter, you both are trying to give her that perfect thing. Somewhere that connect of being yourself and understanding yourself has gone missing at certain places, and that is the reason you have this overthinking pattern. And we'll want to delve into that overthinking pattern, that what exactly it is and how it disturbs you. Because if you're overthinking and you're striving to give a perfect atmosphere to your daughter, and you're still thinking about the native place where you think your mother, your father, your brother are, so there is a lot of commotion inside. So I think probably if you clear it, and if you try to, understand things on the surface level, and your inner self, who you are, what you are, probably that will help. And are there any moments when you overthink and that anxiety takes over, or you kind of, get in, as you did use this word, you get into a guilt mode. So where you are like,
Mhm.
oh, I'm not. So as you
So
said
right
that
now when I'm talking to you, right, there's this. So it's kind of like it's a little bit under the surface. So okay. So the way my day is structured is like I get up, meditate for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and then it's a little bit of workout, and thereafter the day takes over, getting my daughter ready and all that, uh, but when I'm talking here, it's kind of, yes, it's all coming up. It seems like it's repressed. It's under the surface, and right now it's bringing in emotions, in anxiousness, the guilt. All of it is there, but it's under the surface. It doesn't come up so often.
It is
I'd
there
say
in the unconscious. Archika, would you want to talk to him about unconscious, subconscious, and subconscious mind, so that
Yeah, okay. So, Jatin, I'll not be able to fix it in a one session or one day. It's a long
Mhm,
process, and definitely need a help, and there's nothing wrong in it. The one
mhm,
very first thing is there's nothing wrong in it. Second thing is you can start. I don't. How, if the only one question I'll ask, are you a good friend with your wife? Do you feel she is my good friend? She's my wife, but she's my friend also, or she's just my wife.
it's there, but then uh, uh, but I tend to believe
Don't
in
explain
the
it too much.
the
I'll
uh,
Hmm.
understand.
no, no,
Jatin,
I'll
it
just
is.
put it in a
Yeah,
word.
yeah. Go on. Yeah,
I
yeah.
just kind of subscribe to the patriarchal society. I feel there's a masculine role and a feminine role. And let's say it's kind of like this. If I have wounds, I shouldn't exactly be crying about it all the time. That's what like is a
Do you
one-liner.
share everything with her?
I
Everything means you share everything.
not exactly
Not
everything, but yeah,
really.
I mean
Okay.
most of it.
Every,
So Jatin,
every,
you have learned to shove your emotions under the carpet and not show it to anybody. Anybody. When I say anybody, which means you're keeping them under cover from your own self also.
Yes, it is. I mean, it yeah, it feels like the need of the hour. Yeah, yeah. So
okay, so here I'll share what my observation and there are few things only I would like to suggest. First
mhm,
thing is just let me know that you want to play every role with a perfection, right? From the
that is
beginning,
there. Yes. Yeah.
right? आपने एक अपने लिए स्क्रिप्ट लिखी और आपने
Hmm.
स्क्रिप्ट में सारे रोल्स जो लिखे हैं आपने उसको लिखा कि मैंने जितने रोल अब लाइफ में प्ले करने वाला हूँ ना वो सब परफेक्ट होंगे
True.
जहाँ जहाँ
True.
मैंने इम्परफेक्शंस देखी हैं वो इम्परफेक्शन रिमूव कर दूंगा और इरेज कर दूंगा दैट इज व्हाट यू आर
Hmm.
ट्राइंग फ्रॉम वेरी बिगिनिंग राइट
True.
एंड उस
True.
परफेक्शन को करने के चक्कर में आप क्या करते हो ना कि इरेजर तो आपने हटा ही दिया है लाइफ से तो ये आप ओवर राइट करते हो राइट
Okay.
ओवर राइट
तो वो तो
करते हो
कॉन्वोल्यूट हो जाता होगा like
यस
one
तो
colliding with
it's
the
like
other.
yes so this is what is happening with you just try not to be perfect and try to be the way it is the way you are. Just accept it. But nobody is perfect, Jatin, and nobody can be, and one should not be, actually.
Okay. Okay.
You
So
know?
then, like, where does it start? Is there a process? Like,
Yeah.
Jatin, can
First,
I just
first,
bring in Jaya? Because Jaya came in and she wanted to say something as she's written yes. And there is a lot which can be done, Jatin. We were going to talk about, this overthinking pattern, why it happens, what are the underlying features, how we can take care of them. So if Jaya just came in. Jaya, would you come in back? Jatin, just give me a
I
minute.
would like
Yeah.
to have Jaya just give me 2 minutes with Jatin, and I'll just wind it up. Jatin, here I will just suggest you few things. One thing, just make a priority list in your life,
okay.
all you want to do,
Okay.
who is important to you, right? Apart from business and work and all, just make priority list of your relationships. Fine. बट उन प्रायोरिटीज को आप उस तरह से रखना जिस तरह से आपको एक्चुअली फील होता है नॉट बिकॉज सोसाइटल नॉर्म्स क्या कहते हैं मुझे मदर को पहले रखना चाहिए नहीं मुझे वाइफ को नीचे रखना चाहिए नहीं बेटी को थोड़ा ऊपर रखना नॉट इन दैट वे व्हाट योर
Mm-hmm.
हार्ट इज सेइंग ओके जस्ट
Okay.
प्रायोरिटाइज दैट ओके आफ्टर दैट just start thinking and just tell yourself that whatever I am doing good Jatin जितना लाइफ में अचीव किया है मैंने बहुत कुछ किया है and I'm satisfied. Be satisfied with yourself. Just start practicing these things.
Okay. Like self
Okay.
affirmations.
Yes, self affirmations, And whatever you are trying right now, just try to be yourself. Don't try to be like, I think whenever you are doing something, first you write that kind of script. It should be like this. ऐसे नहीं होना चाहिए और ऐसे ही होना चाहिए. And you keep on
Hmm.
trying and doing that. Right? Stop doing that.
Okay.
दिस
Okay.
प्रिडिक्शंस नहीं कर पाते हैं हम लोग को पहले से हमें सब कुछ पता हो तो फिर तो हम भगवान ही बन जाएंगे ना बट वी
That's
आर
true.
ह्यूमन
Yeah.
बीइंग्स so let's
Agreed.
behave like that so these are the few things there are a lot of things I would like to discuss I would like to connect if you want to connect personally and separately so because it's a lengthy process but initially you can start with yourself that is a very good move it will help you definitely
Just to take it to Jaya, Jatin, I have something to add to what Archika said, but just listen to Jaya and then come back. And anybody else who's been listening so far, if you have anything you'd like to discuss, just come on board and talk about it and or write down if you want to write it down. And if you feel right now you're not ready to speak, Jaya, please go on, dear.
Hey, hi Ashmika. So I think like most of the people we just dwell on the thoughts. I mean the same pattern.
Okay, थोड़ा सा दूर हो. We can't hear you clearly.
Is it fine now?
Better.
Give me.
Oh, you're good now. Yeah.
Yeah, I just reconnected again. Yes. Can you hear me now?
Better.
I think most of the people, we just dwell on the thoughts which were thinking over and over. So maybe if we try to change our circle, coming out of the zone where we feel safe, that would make us much better. At least if we go for some outings, or if we involve ourselves in swimming, a few more activities, so that make us to come out of those kind of negative patterns, and it will give us some kind of relaxation. That's what I would say.
To talk about something more when we're talking about overthinking, and as Archika just told Jatin to, do two things. When you talk about overthinking, guys, there are certain techniques which you can employ. Now, for example, just now Jaya said ki you can go out, you can be with people with whom you like to be. But beyond that, we'll have to understand that why these overthinking patterns happen. What are the things, because is it because of the relationships? Is it because of my beliefs? Because as I was trying to talk about the conscious, subconscious and the unconscious, हमारा mind का बहुत सारा हिस्सा, or everybody might know Sigmund Freud, but abhi, whatever Sigmund Freud said was that majority of what is happening in our life is in unconscious. और हम कहीं ना कहीं सब कुछ अच्छा कर रहे होते हैं जिंदगी में, बट स्टिल कुछ ऐसा होता है जो हमें डिस्टर्ब करता रहता है, हमें खुश नहीं होने देता है, और हम फिर भी एक लूप में रहते हैं, ओवर थिंकिंग पैटर्न में रहते हैं. उसके कारण क्या क्या होते हैं? Like we were talking about self discovery और उसके challenges क्या होते हैं. So just quickly bringing in certain points. Why overthinking and negative happens? Perfectionism. As I think we are looking at Jatin also, he wants to be the man in the shining armor. There is nothing wrong in that, as Archika told him already. But the thing is that somewhere when we are trying to do things to make everybody happy and try to do everything so that everybody is well taken care of, and we are trying to achieve that perfection, we are over analyzing and we have the fear of making mistakes. Perfectionist will always be afraid of making mistakes, and that is what is causing overthinking. Tell me, Jatin, tell me, Jaya, or anybody down, if we are striving for perfection, are we afraid that if we make a mistake, oh my god, kya hoga? We overanalyze, we overthink, and we are afraid. Yeah.
Agreed. I
Yes.
mean, it,
Yes.
it's all doom and gloom अगर हम लोग if we make a mistake. Like the moment it's a mistake, it's like end of the world. How can this happen?
Yeah. So
Very
perfectionism leads to the fear of making mistakes, and that's the reason we are always over analyzing. So we'll have to learn how to get out of this loop. This is a loop, and we have made a loop, and we are in this vicious cycle. And then when we talk about this fear of mistakes, the other one is fear of failure. A perfectionist is afraid of making mistakes, and then a normal person, why he or she is overthinking? Because we are afraid of failure. We have fear of failure. अरे मैंने एग्जाम्स में पढ़ाई तो अच्छी करी थी, बट मेरे मार्क्स ठीक नहीं आए तो क्या होगा? Will I get through the entrance exam? Will I get this job? Will I be liked for whatever I am applying for? That is also causing, that fear of failure is also making us overthink, right? And then lack of confidence is the third thing. अगर हमारे में confidence नहीं है, see, these are contrasts. A perfectionist is somebody who is not lacking in confidence because he's taken himself or she has taken herself to that level. But there would be somebody of a different identity or a different individual who has that lack of confidence, low self-esteem. And when I have low confidence and I am not sure of what I'm saying, am I saying it right? Am I making sense? that also kind of puts us into an overthinking pattern. Anybody down there who wants to ask something, add on something to whatever we are saying, please feel free. And then the fourth one is uncertainty. We are all afraid of uncertainty, and that doubt and ambiguity about future. We are always overthinking. Am I making sense on this? All these four parts. Jatin, you want to say something?
No, you're making sense. Yes, it does.
All right. Then we have past trauma. Yesterday, we were just having Noor before everybody came in. Noor was talking about certain traumatic situations which have happened in her life, she's trying to be jolly, she's trying to be happy, but there are certain loops in her brain, in the unconscious mind, which keep appearing, which keep disturbing. So that is the past trauma. So that past trauma also, and these past traumas, remember, they are the unresolved experiences. As a child, if we experience something, as a teenager, we experience something which left a scar or some impression of the negative kind, it also takes us onto a negative thought pattern, an overthinking pattern. And then the last one is cognitive biases, as we were talking about cognitive biases, because we are always in the loop of thinking, I'm not good, I'm bad. We are always in the self-critical mode, and we are always, I hope everybody knows the meaning of cognition. Just to explain it, cognition means processing of the information which reaches to the brain. Okay, we have Rufin. He says, Archika, Jatin can relate with your situation. Continue with meditation to connect with your mind, heart. Absolutely. And forgive. Wow, that's a beautiful word, Rufin. Rufin, would you want to come online and talk something before we go on further on to understanding? I am inviting Rufin to come there. Absolutely. So, in the way we are going to be practicing today, we plan to do a little meditation of understanding yourself, visualization actually. So, go on, Rufin. Rufin?
Yeah, I think I was speaking on mute. So thanks a lot for, first of all, acknowledging my message. Jatin, I can relate with your situation. Yeah, I'm also sailing in the same boat. And, but I think what I have been receiving as advice from many of my friends and many of people who have gone through this is to be self-forgiving. Yeah, and never to be always blaming yourself because you want to be perfect. And there are situations at work, situations at home, situations in your friend circle where you want to be the perfect human being, perfect body, perfect friend, perfect brother, perfect husband, perfect son, and so on. So in that, you are killing yourself. You are trying too much. You are putting too much pressure, and then you are trying to be a different person in different situations, and you're not being natural. So what happens is because you're becoming unnatural. This is not naturally coming out, and that is kind of creating a lot of conflict with it. I mean, if you be natural the way if you are everywhere in all the situations, then I think I mean, I include myself, and I'm trying to achieve that. I be natural the way I am everywhere, and then use that conflict. So, yeah, I can relate directly with you, and I wish you all the best. And yeah, come out of this guilt that I have to play a role model everywhere. So
Yeah,
yeah,
Absolutely.
we can
absolutely.
do that,
Agreed.
but don't yeah, don't be so overbearing on yourself.
Okay.
That's my point.
Absolutely. Rafin, what you said made sense, and thank you very much for coming in and saying whatever you said. Very beautifully put. I would like to give example from my own life. Before that, I'd move on to Archika if she has something to add on to it. And anybody else down there who would like to unwind, because ISCA, Indian Specialized Counseling Academy, is an open space. We want you all to come speak in a non-critical, non-judgmental space. Nobody is going to criticize, nobody is going to judge, because we all have our good and bad. We all have negatives and positives. It's a life. We are all energies. We are all people trying to connect and understand how we can make ourselves better, make our lives beautiful journeys. And that's what is important. Archika?
Yeah, thank you, Ashima. Actually, I would say that overthinking is something which actually paralyzes your thought process,
Absolutely.
where you fail to understand wrong and right. And above that, I'll say that please acknowledge your success, acknowledge your presence in this world. Look at the bigger picture. And if any point of the life you are feeling that something bad is happening to you and you have this question in your mind, then why this has happened to me? So उसके बाद आप उसका नेक्स्ट स्टेप सोचना, अभी मेरे साथ तो गलत एक हो गया इंसिडेंट, समथिंग हैज गॉन रॉन्ग विद मी, बट व्हाई इट हैज हैपेंड विद मी, व्हाई मी? सो इससे ज्यादा क्या हो सकता था, द वर्स्ट ऑफ इट. एंड देन बी ग्रेटफुल टू गॉड एंड एक्नॉलेज दैट ओके, वो नहीं हुआ जो और हो सकता था, जो हुआ वो ठीक है, फाइन, इट हैज हैपेंड, फाइन. सो समटाइम्स हम लोग वो एक्नॉलेज करना भूल जाते हैं जो कि और भी हो सकता था हमारे साथ, बट वो नहीं हुआ. Then we start blaming and we start asking question to ourselves कि हमारे साथ ही ऐसा क्यों हुआ, मतलब ये मेरे साथ ऐसा क्यों हुआ, वो मेरे साथ ऐसा क्यों हुआ. जो नहीं हुआ उसे भी तो सोचो, वैसा भी तो हो सकता था ना, इससे एक स्टेप आगे भी हो सकता था. सो आप वहां से बच गए हो एंड यू आर एट बेटर प्लेस देन एक्नॉलेज दैट. And please, communication is a very important part in life. When you stop communicating with your loved one, with your friends, with yourself, everything starts from there.
I would
Everything
like to
starts.
invite Nikhil. He's making a face. Now I need to understand what that face means, because it would be lovely and very, very. Yes, Nikhil, go on. Let's hear from you also, my dear.
Yeah, good afternoon. This is my first day. I am speaking. Oh my God.
All right.
Hesitating to hear.
All right.
What about
So
the
you
topic?
wanted to, he wanted to acknowledge, he wanted us to acknowledge his presence. We did, Nikhil. It's beautiful to have you. And then Jaya says, always surround with people who make you mindset positive and encouraging. I would want to build on that, Jaya. And as Archika said, communication is the key. And if you can communicate to others and you can have people and be open, like Jatin says that he thinks that he cannot talk everything out because, we still hold that thing that men can't cry or men don't cry. But I think men have the right to cry, and men have the right to feel weak, and men have the right to take help if it is needed. And as Archika said, overthinking just paralyzes us lots of times. Absolutely. So I'm going to give you a technique here, guys. I want you all to practice. It's a technique of 5 senses or 3 senses. So we'll start with 3. We all know. Is everybody ready? Can we have a yes? Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. So the first very important thing, we'll do all these journaling. We'll come to those pointers of journaling, meditation, keeping yourself with good people. But the very first step, when you get into that overthinking mode, it is you who's alone, and you are the one who is into that mode. So how do you break that loop? Now you'll have to start breaking that loop. So the very first technique for today, which we would want to give, is 3 senses technique, which is you will have to from today start accepting and acknowledging. जैसे ही कोई नेगेटिव थॉट या ओवर थिंकिंग पैटर्न बनना शुरू होता है आपके दिमाग में, जो आपको एक सड़क और गली की तरफ लेकर जा रहा है, वेयर यू थिंक यू डोंट वांट टू गो एंड यू शुड नॉट गो, यू विल हैव टू कॉग्निटिवली अपने आप को रोकना पड़ेगा. गाइस, इट विल कम विद अ लिटिल प्रैक्टिस से आएगा थोड़ा थोड़ा. मगर क्या करना है आपको? जैसे ही आपके पहली नेगेटिव थॉट आई, दूसरी नेगेटिव थॉट आई, हमें पता तो चलना शुरू हो जाता है ना कि हम लूप में जाने वाले हैं. दैट्स द टाइम व्हेन यू वांट टू स्नैप And that's the time, let's say you have a pen in your hand at that time. You have to start looking at the pen and you have to start feeling the pen. So your two senses have got involved. One is your sight, the other is touch. So now, what are you going to do? You'll say, oh, this pen, it's of blue color, huh? Oh, the texture is pretty smooth. And then you say, does it write good? And then you say, मैंने ही तो खरीदा था, कितने का खरीदा था? And then you try to these, so you have involved your two senses, right? So the moment I did that, what did I do? I snapped out of that overthinking or negative thinking pattern. Let me say it again. Now let me give you another scenario. I am sitting on my table. I don't have the pen in my hand. My pen is kept on the side and I am punching the tab on my laptop, on my desktop, and I start building on the loop of negative thoughts or overthinking pattern is returning back. I have to acknowledge to myself, I have to snap and I have to say, oh, my thoughts are taking me towards negativity or overthinking pattern. And you say, stop. And you say, okay, my laptop, how? Oh, it's black. I've never observed my laptop. Okay, this is M written over here. This is N. And then you try to touch, you try to see what is written. And you see, oh, I was working on this. Because a lot of time when we are doing certain things, we are in the, that auto mode. And we are in that mode where we are able to get into a thinking pattern which takes us to the past or it takes us to the future, but we are not in present. So this technique of involving your senses, whether you involve 2, 3 or 5, will bring you back. For example, third one, I'm giving you a situation, then I'll give the dice to Archika and others to say if they think this will help or if there is any confusion. You're eating food. We have gotten so ritualistic. खाना खाते खाते हम खाना एंजॉय नहीं कर रहे होते हैं, हमारे दिमाग में कुछ और ही चल रहा होता है. तो आप खाना खा रहे हैं, आपके दिमाग में आ रहा है, यार वो नहीं किया, यार ये तो बिल्कुल यार ये सही कैसे होगा. That's the time when you snap and say, oh, this is a red flag. And you bring yourself back to the spoon. Spoon, oh, steel का है. अच्छा लग रहा है. The color is very good. The texture is good. Let me just go taste my food. अच्छा, खाने में क्या है? Smell कैसा आ रहा है खाने का? And then you involve to that aroma. So now the third sense is getting involved. Your sense of smell. Touch, smell, sight. We have involved 3. We have 2 more. Now, let me give it to Archika if she wants to add on to it. And then let me ask everybody. If you want, we can try this on also here with you. Or if you have any questions.
Thank you so much, Ashima. You explained it really well. And if you guys are find it little technical and आपको लगता है कि जो आशिमा ने techniques दी हैं, they are like याद रहेंगी या नहीं. So I'll give you another technique which is very, very, very easy. So whenever something is happening to you, कोई भी ऐसा thought आ रहा है which you are not liking, when you know it's bad or something, first thing that ये सोचने से मुझे कोई फायदा हो रहा है क्या? And then think about the person you love. उसे कोई फायदा हो रहा है क्या? But मुझे damage हो रहा है क्या इससे? The moment you'll start thinking on these lines and length, you'll realize that मुझे ये नहीं सोचना. Because सबसे ज़्यादा आप जिसे प्यार करते हैं और अपने आप को आप प्यार करते हैं, तो जो आप सोच रहे हैं उससे आपको benefit है या जिसे आप प्यार करते हैं उसे benefit है. Get the picture of your loved one in your mind. Close your eyes and think what I'm thinking. If something happens to me, if something wrong happens to me, so what will happen to those people? And it will become easy for you to come out of that process. Just try and let me know if it works.
So these 2 techniques involving your senses, and the second one, trying to process the information ke bhai, am I thinking and I'm wasting my time? Is it really worth it? These are 2 techniques. And Jatin also wrote down one technique, which is 5 second technique. Absolutely. Counting till 5, counting till 10. Absolutely. So Jatin is giving you a third. When you're counting, no, you're conscious, Jatin. You're conscious that you want to have your, go on, Jatin, you want to say something.
Connected with that, agreed. I mean, bringing in your senses and thinking about from like a 10,000 feet overview, and that's all. Yeah.
Yeah, involving your sight. Yeah. So that is what you involve your 3 senses, you involve your 2 senses, or at least 2 तो होना ही चाहिए. Touch, sight, smell, that fragrance or aroma or whatever, if you're talking about food and all, and then even your hearing. अगर मेरे पीछे कोई music चल रहा है, I quickly snap off and go on to that music. That will also help. So let's hear from others down there. 2 techniques. Whether you do it for 5 seconds, you do it for 10 seconds. The one which Archika has given, it's about going and being mindful and thinking कि भाई ये सही thought है कि नहीं गलत thought है. और दूसरा ये है कि instead of getting into that idea of सही है कि गलत है, you just divert for that moment. This is the beginning. This is just the beginning. There is much more in this. Cognitive restructuring is what is really important after that. So let us just take a 30-second rest and see if anybody wants to add something, come up on the dais, speak something, add something, or they have some questions to ask. Go on, guys.
We have Baldev also. Baldev, would you like to come up and talk about it? Shri is there.
Yeah. So if you're all understood हमने क्या बोला, एक thumbs up दे दो यार. या question mark डाल दो if you have a question. At least we'll feel we are talking something. Okay, Jatin comes, Noor comes up with the thumbs up, and
I definitely like to hear from you people that whatever we guys talk, whatever techniques we share or something, does it really work for you? Have you ever tried them? That we want to know actually, so that we can, add up to it. The more techniques we can introduce.
Noor wants to say something. Go on, dear.
मैम अगर आप प्रैक्टिस करे क्या आप हम लोग का जो भी बता रहे हैं आप प्रैक्टिस करे क्या बोल के पूछे समझो वो पहले जवाब देने में रहती क्योंकि आप जैसा वैसा अपने निजी जिंदगी में वो करने में कोशिश करने में मैं ज्यादा मानती जैसे कि आप कल का सेशन पूरा था ना मैम उसके वजह से ना मैं पूरा पिछले मेरा पूरा पास में चले गई पूरे दिमाग में कई सारे सवाल आ रहे थे फिर मैं क्या करी आपका सेशन खत्म होने के बाद 3 बजे शायद मैं फिर सर्कल बना ली और मैं सोची कि मेरे को ना पूरा कैसा की हो गया था तो मैं क्या करी चलो ऐसा रहता तो फिर मैं लूप में चले जाती बोल के एकदम से उठ के फिर वजू करी थोड़ा प्रे कर ली मतलब बहुत ज्यादा मेरे को पूरे वही ख्याल आ रहे थे और मेरे को ओवरवेलमिंग लग रहा था मेरे को डर लग रहा था कि फिर मैं पूरा वो उसमें चले जाती वो थॉट्स में चले गई तो फिर निकलना मुश्किल होता बोल के लग रहा था मेरे को तो मैं क्या करी एकदम से उठ के थोड़ा फ्रेश होके एक बार नमाज पढ़ ली और फिर बाद में आके मेरे को किसी से भी बात करने का मन नहीं करता फिर भी मैं आई मंजा में आई और सर्कल बना के खुद से ही बातें कर रही थी जैसा मैं खुद से बात कर रही थी लोग भी आ रहे थे बात कर रहे थे तो मेरे को ना वो वाला मतलब वो पूरे फिर उसी थॉट्स में अंदर डूब जाने से मैं अपने आप को बाहर निकाल ली तो मेरे को अच्छा लगा तो ये मैं कर रही मैम जो बोल रहे हैं आप लोग जैसा बता रहे वैसा करने में फायदा हो रहा एक्चुअली में हो रहा
तो तुम अपनी एक छोटी सी बात पूछो नूर तुम हमारे जो भी तुम्हारी थॉट्स तुम्हें आके डिस्टर्ब करती हैं जिनसे तुम डर रही हो तुम उनको फेस करना चाहोगी क्या मतलब फेस करके उनसे बात करके उनको रेस्ट पे रखना चाहोगी ताकि वो तुम्हें बार बार डिस्टर्ब करती हैं
हाँ मैम मतलब एक है तो समझे जा मैम मतलब कई सारे उससे जुड़े हुए कई सारे मतलब वो एक लिंक है तो मेरे को डर लगता कि अगर ये मैं मेरा खुद का है तो मैं पूरा बयां कर सकती पूरा बोल सकती मेरे को डर ही नहीं लगता लेकिन क्या बोलने से लोग फिर गलत समझते होंगे, मेरे बारे में फिर क्या सोचते होंगे, नहीं मतलब मेरे को समझ में नहीं आता। अगर से मेरे अंदर कुछ भी चल रहा ना, तो फिर मेरे पेरेंट्स पे चाहता होऊंगा, मतलब उनके वजह से मैं ऐसा मतलब
Noor,
हाँ
let me and Archika plan something where we can try to help you and see how we can help you. क्योंकि
हाँ
अब तुम्हें अपने जितने भी तुम्हारे पास्ट के ट्रॉमास हैं, या हम उसको अगर हिंदी में बोले, जो भी भूत तुम्हें बार बार निकल के डिस्टर्ब करते हैं ना, तुम्हें एक बार उनको फेस करना होगा, तुम्हें उनको रेस्ट पे डगाना होगा, तुम्हें उनको ये समझा, क्योंकि तुम्हारी आगे की जिंदगी मैटर करती है, राइट? It really matters. So you really will have to do that. But right now, slowly, as जैसे बोला, जैसा ही तुम्हें कोई थॉट्स आए पुराना डिस्टर्ब करने की कोशिश करे, या तो जैसे अर्चिका ने बोला, खुद से ये पूछो, क्या इन थॉट्स को वापस सोचने से फायदा है? अगर नहीं है तो उनको डब्बे में वापस डाल दो। एक विजुअलाइजेशन टेक्निक होती है, तुम्हारे को जैसे ही कोई थॉट जिनको अभी तुम नहीं छेड़ना चाह रही हो, सोचो, जैसे भी वो आए उनको बोलो, भाई तुम्हारी अभी जरूरत नहीं है, वो उधर अलमारी पड़ी है, उसके अंदर लॉकर में जा करके, एंड यू विजुअलाइज दैट, ट्राई टू पुट देम इनटू दैट लॉकर एंड लॉक देम देयर। हम किसी टाइम पे आगे चल के उनको कोशिश करेंगे कि तुम्हारे उन जो इश्यूज हैं, ट्रॉमास को रिजॉल्व कर दें, ताकि वो तुम्हें आगे चल के डिस्टर्ब ना करें। क्योंकि जैसा कि हम बात कर रहे हैं, हमारा अनकॉन्शियस, सबकॉन्शियस और कॉन्शियस होता है। कॉन्शियस जैसे हमारा जो डेली चल रहा है, एक रूटीन चल रहा है, चाहे वो रिचुअलिस्टिक है जिसमें हम लोग आगे बढ़ रहे हैं। दूसरा सब कॉन्शियस होता है हमारा, हमारी कई चीजें हमारे दिमाग में रहती हैं और झट से आ जाती हैं, मगर कुछ अनकॉन्शियस में है, और वो कहीं ना कहीं नीचे बैठकर भी हमें ऊपर तक छेड़ती रहती हैं बार बार, क्योंकि वो हमारे बिलीफ सिस्टम में है, हमारी कॉग्निशन में घर कर गई हैं। So we'll have to learn to take care of them and learn to get out of them. There are certain more techniques which are much bigger and which definitely will help. But उसके लिए कहीं ना कहीं we'll have to probably sit across and understand how to go about. नूर, तुम्हें काफी समझ चुकी हूँ मैं बहुत लेवल्स तक. Even Archika also now so we'll see. Even Jatin also. Today Jatin and Noor, they really opened up and they really made so much of information available for others to process and understand. I think Archika or मैं, we like to thank you for whatever you did today, and we hope that we helped you, we could make it good for you. Archika, you want to
Yeah, Ashima, here for everybody, I'll give one therapy kind of thing. It's a, you can say it's a trick or it's a technique, whatever. So whenever you are getting a lot of this thoughts और आपको लग रहा है कि वो बाहर ही नहीं जा रहे, आ रहे हैं, start doing one thing, start writing them on a piece of paper. Fine. छोटे छोटे स्लिप्स बनाओ आप, एक छोटा बॉक्स लो, बॉक्स इन अ सेंस कार्टन पेपर whatever, and लिख कर you write them all down on a piece of paper and start putting in that box. जितना भी आ रहा है, जब तक आ रहा है, you are getting it for 10 minutes, 5 minutes, half an hour. When you're feeling that okay, now I'm done, close that box with all your negative thoughts and everything. Either throw it in a dustbin, or burn it, whatever you feel like, and with that, when you're watching it, you're destroying it, then get that feeling inside yourself कि जितने negative thoughts, जितने bad, whatever you were feeling the bad about it, things, whatever I've written and put in that box, they are all gone. They are not inside me, they are not there in my life.
I think let's do one thing. Whosoever is here, starting today, we are on the second session. We have 8 more sessions to go, which is till next Friday. So अभी आप लोगों के जो भी नेगेटिव थॉट्स हैं, उनको एक बॉक्स में या किसी ग्लास में लिख के भरना शुरू कर दो. आप उनको कितने भी आ रहे हैं, अलग अलग आएंगे. अगर एक ही थॉट बार बार आ रहा है तो उसी थॉट की पर्ची को निकालो, उस पे +2 कर दो कि ये 2 बार आया, या उसी की दोबारा एक और पर्ची डाल दो. जस्ट पुट नंबर 2 एंड देन कीप पुटिंग इट अगेन, एंड डू इट फॉर टिल फ्राइडे. Let's come back on Monday and some of you come back and tell us कि कितनी slips इकट्ठी हो चुकी हैं. And if you think you want to read them out to yourself and you want, destroy, definitely we will be doing them. We'll be destroying as Archika mentions. But let's just put them. At least हमें पता तो चले कि हमारे दिमाग में ऐसी कितनी thoughts हैं जो आती हैं और कितनी बार बार आ रही हैं. So we will know the intensity and we'll be able to understand कि हमें किसको prioritize करके पहले खत्म करना है. So do you think this makes sense and we can do it? Making a small box or a glass of slips. It's, believe me, एक चीज वापस से बोलना चाहूंगी. हम सब जब छोटे थे बहुत प्यारे थे. हम लोगों में कोई हिचक नहीं थी, कोई डर नहीं था, कोई एम्बैरेसमेंट नहीं था. हमको कुछ पूछने से डर नहीं लगता था, हमें कुछ कहने से डर नहीं लगता था. मगर जैसे जैसे बड़े होते जाते हैं ना, हम सोसाइटल नॉर्म्स में बनते चले जाते हैं. एंड दैट इज द रीजन कहीं ना कहीं हम खुद से खुद को छुपाना शुरू कर देते हैं. हम अपने बारे में लोगों से बात नहीं करते हैं. वाई? बिकॉज वी आर अफ्रेड. लोग क्या कहेंगे, what people would say and what will happen. And so today's homework question is, what societal standards do you feel pressure to conform to, and how societal pressures affect your self-image? So you will have to be thinking about it today कि society की वजह से ऐसे क्या pressures हैं जो आपको खुद से connect होने से you're not able to connect to yourself and they affect your self-image. This is the question for tomorrow. So we'll start from this tomorrow. And probably we will be taking you on to a small assessment, a small 10 question thing which we would be conducting. And where we will help you in understanding कि आप लोगों को criticize करते रहते हो अपनी problems के लिए, या आप उसका खुद का onus लेके अपने आप को एक loop में डालते हो. So I think that will kind of make you all feel good, right, Archika?
Yeah, tomorrow we are planning that, and I think Ashima, we should plan that around 1 o'clock where people can join by then.
ठीक है. So 1 o'clock, Jatin wants to say something. Go on, Jatin.
Time is it tomorrow again? So I wanted to follow.
No, our session starts at 12:30. We are here from Monday to Friday, 12:30 to 1:30. This is season 1 where we are trying to connect people to themselves. That inner connection, which somehow is lost. It is there inside, but we need to find it back.
So societal pressure, I think, is a very important fact. Thanks for bringing it up. Yeah, we'll do that exercise.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, guys. See you tomorrow.
Thank you very much. Societal pressures tomorrow.